Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks with launching DUNADAO, and this is actually our very first working group that we're hosting in what will likely be a working group series as we continue to implement tools for supporting our decentralized autonomous organization surrounding decentralized, unincorporated nonprofit association. So that's what DUNADAO stands for. And on the screen here, we've actually got the agenda. That should be something that's linked on the various streaming platforms. So scrolling down to our agenda, and one of the things that I'm going to be doing throughout the live stream, and this is to create some AI prompts, is I'm going to be doing a timestamp. And one of the things that I want to do is introduce some of our special guests. Alejandro, aka Wasabi, founder of Coconut Network, has actually been using Charmverse for quite a while and is a Charmverse ambassador. So very pleased to have him on to share some of his experience as far as using Charmverse. And then also Stella, the founder of the Alana project, and now she crossed out, and thank you for doing that. Congratulations, Stella, the lead steward of Unlock Protocol. And as you can see over here, we're already using Unlock Protocol quite a lot in laying a solid foundation. One of the new NFTs that I just spun up to represent an Explorer component, and I was having some conversations with Nuke on that. But anyway, I've been rambling here enough. Let's do a quick introduction, and I'll start off with Wasabi since you're the Charmverse ambassador. Over you to my friend.
GM, thank you so much for having me today. Yeah, I'm Alejandro, better known as Wasabi, everywhere in every social media. I'm one of the founders of Coconut Network. I'm based in the Dominican Republic. And yeah, I've been using Charmverse for a minute, and I love it. People often say that it's a replacement for Notion, but it's something else. And the best features of Charmverse are the ones that are not in Notion exactly. It's beyond creating documents, it's beyond creating a wiki. I feel like Charmverse is the only one tool that you need as a community hub. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just got to chime in. One of the things, I am a true coconut fan. I actually just had to step away and get some coconut water out of the freezer there so it didn't freeze, because I may run out of my caffeinated beverage, the iced tea that I brewed. But anyway, over to you, Stella.
Hi there, my name is Stella. I'm the founder of the Alana project, which is an educational project for creators. And since last week, I'm also officially lead steward of Unlock DAO. Unlock DAO has been existing for a while, but we're only just now kind of stepping out of the shadows. So there is a lot to do. One part is figuring out the right tooling. So this is why I'm here.
And the most important person in the Zoom here today is my superpower, Mrs. Yonks. Tyler, go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm Tyler Yonker, aka Mrs. Yonks, and one of the co-founders of DUNADAO. I'm super excited to get to know all of you guys better and see how we can work together more.
Thanks, Tyler. And Amy, who's been building decentralized projects with us for all the way back since met Amy on Clubhouse back in June of 2021, and she is also a co-founder in all the things that we build. So over to you, Amy.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. I'm just here to learn. Jason already did an intro, so I have other projects, but I'm here to learn right now. Thank you so much.
And we have a new participant in our live stream format. Would love to hear from you real quick, Brendan. All right, well, over to you, Nuke.
Hey, everybody. I think much like Amy, I'm here to learn and see what Charmverse is all about, as well as DUNADAO, and very curious to see where this all goes. Along for the ride.
And glad that you can make it on here, Jorge, with Lit Cloud Canada. Over to you, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm Jorge from Gatineau, Canada. I'm a founder of Lit Cloud Canada, which I'm focusing in blockchains for enterprises and common people. So I believe that everyone can have their own ecosystem, and we're still exploring many areas. And I'm taking the opportunity to learn a lot here too about DAOs, because it's the foundation for communities and campaigns and working together and all that. So instead of going somewhere else, why I don't pure over here, so I can learn and do business at the same time and grow our community. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right, I see Brendan's got his hand up. Over to you, Brendan.
Well, yeah, sorry, I couldn't get back to the right button here. Yes, I'm interested in learning more deeply about the different DAO tooling that is most current here.
And yeah, on that note, I am absolutely very excited for this. Tyler can attest how much that we have continued to slip into Notion, and Notion, needless to say, is not a very decentralized tool. And one of the things that we will unpack here during our working group is some of the composability that Charmverse has. When Stella and I were on a DAO acceleration for DAO Spring at DAOspring.org, week 4 tools conversation. It was pretty fabulous. I mean, it literally took me like a minute to set up my profile, because I've done a pretty good job setting up decentralized identity throughout the ecosystem, like with yonks.eth and other things. So anyway, before we get started, and I'm going to scroll down to the agenda, and this is one of the cues that I'm going to throw in here. So our introductions are over, so this will be a timestamp to go to the next section here. So I've got on here, ask Wasabi if he has any words of wisdom or best practices before we get started. So over to you, Wasabi, if you want to champion some best practices of what you've learned so far.
In Chambers, right?
Yes, yes.
Try to set up everything beyond you before you bring everyone else into the workspace. Like a mistake that I have seen people setting up everything from scratch is that if you don't do it since the beginning, then you have to manually, it's more work going forward. So try to set up as you are setting up the workspace, try to set up the proposals workflow. Like, okay, you have the onboarding already outlined, try to replicate that process in the proposal templates. So, you know, when you bring people on board, you have everything set up and you can maximize the use of structured data. Because for me, Chambers is the key, the key value of Chambers is to gather structured data about everything that you want, proposals, onboarding, a grants program, everything in between. But the foundation of those is the proposal workflow and the proposal templates, because you can define everything in those two settings. You define everything, and I love to create the roles before I'm setting up everything. Like, I need to have the roles, because that's how you segregate all of the functions by role. And that's how Chambers become powerful, when you can automate everything.
Yeah, and I kind of felt the same way too, because that's one of the things that is, like you said, foundational in building a solid community, because we as participants in community really can gravitate and a lot of times roles aren't very well defined. And I think that this is a great use case, and one of the reasons that created the Explorer role, and now we have the founding member role. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead. One of the things that I like doing from a best practices standpoint is, on a project, I normally have a hot wallet for basically various things. And like here, we've got DUNADAO.eth. DUNADAO.eth is the hot wallet that I've used to create these community representing NFTs. So I'm going to actually go through, and the nice thing too about this is that you will be able to see, because I've already personally onboarded into Charmverse already. So this will be a very green experience, because and just going here to, and I'm going to throw a timestamp in here for the key elements. So at charmverse.io, and most of these links go to app.charmverse.io, which is a very common usage within the ecosystems for doing this sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm signed in here with the DUNADAO.eth hot wallet, and I am. So click on the sign up, and it takes to the app page. Sign up here, Coinbase wallet, connect, sign. One of the things that I didn't get done was airdropping, and that's something that I'll probably do here after, but airdropping the NFT Explorer. I did get it created and sent to myself and Tyler in anticipation of this work group. But anyway, create, start from a template. I'm actually going to choose start from a template. Well, I don't know. Do you got any thoughts on this, Wasabi, as far as what's the best?
I'm biased, but the impact template was made by me. The impact
community.
Yeah, that was made by me.
Do you know what the difference is? And this is kind of some interesting workflow here, is import from Notion. So this is one of the nice features, because Notion has been and still is used. It's something that we use quite a bit, but like one of the things that's really nice about DUNADAO is that this project is so fresh that I haven't really created any documentation. And as you can see with the Google Doc, one of the things that I've been doing just to make it easier for people to contribute, because it is a barrier of entry to get people into Notion, and there's a little bit of a learning curve. But what do you know what the main difference between these are, like as far as how that it provides some workflow?
Pretty much is the same. What varies is like the layout of the space. That's the layout.
So we'll if this is the one that you recommend, we're going to go with Impact Community, because we do absolutely want to make an impact. Because one of the things that Tyler and I have been having some conversations about is that I believe, as DAO founders in 2024, with the legal framework that exists, and DUNADAO is about being more compliant, building decentralized organizations. And I'm largely operating with the belief and ethos that in 2024, with the legal frameworks that exist, especially with DUNA is going to be going live on July 1st. And the great thing about DUNA is that you don't even have any cost through a centralized entity like a Secretary of State to create a legal entity. And there may be some different situations, and that's a little bit of a tangent. But let's go ahead and do the impact community here. And let's call this DUNADAO. Get started. I guess this is for a logo. So if anybody loves doing graphic design, this is like pretty rudimentary. It's not a great logo, but it's what we've got right now. So anyway, that's how I roll, is get something in there and make it be consistent. So let's see, we're gonna go DUNADAO at proton.me and check the terms and conditions. And so charmverse.io/terms. So I'm not going to go through the legalese. It's probably fairly common legalese. So next, about me. So let's just copy and paste this. So we'll go to our DUNADAO, and this is an opportunity to get something better too, as far as like what we're looking to do, because this isn't a very good descriptor. So we're just going to copy and paste to keep things consistent right now. So twitter.com. I wonder if it's using x.com, DUNADAO. Probably not. No.
No, I already tried that when I set up my profile after you suggested it, and it wasn't happy with x.com.
Yeah. So we do have a company page, and this is one of the things, if you want to give us some, for those of you that are on LinkedIn, give us some LinkedIn love, because we do need 150 followers to start live streaming. We are live streaming into Retoken DAO. Retoken is going to get rebranded, and that's one of the fundamental reasons why I'm passionate about Duna, is having a framework for tokenizing real world assets. And I'm pretty sure that we've got a GitHub, but I'm not going to add that right now. Maybe I will. Let's see. GitHub.com/DunaDAO. Maybe not. So I'll take a look, pick that offline. Not going to connect any of this other stuff. Okay, so we'll call this DUNADAO.eth. Save. So that was fairly easy. So let's see. And settings, roles and permissions. So this very much looks and feels like Notion on some things. So we're going to do, so this is where we're going to do a timestamp. So this is, we created the space here. Now we're going to create the Explorer role and create token gating with the Explorer role using the NFT from Unlock over here, the Explorer. And this is one of the things that everybody participating will get an Explorer role. And if you love what we're doing, I'd absolutely encourage you to become a founding member. It's only 7 USDC. So anyway, role, add role. We're going to call this Explorer. Create role. Yeah. So let's see, where do you know where we do the token gating, Wasabi?
Sorry?
The token gating for the Explorer role, where we get that configured?
Invites. Click on invites.
Invites. Okay, okay. Token gated.
Yeah, you click on add and then you select token gate.
Awesome. Add token gate, digital collectibles.
And Chambers also have native integration with Unlock protocol. But yeah, how you're doing it is great. You can do it either with a native integration or just with the regular gate of ERC 721.
Nice. We'll use Unlock here, since, let me make sure. I'm actually just going to copy the lock address from right here. So this is the Explorer lock contract address. Next, Unlock protocol, Explorer, DUNADAO, add condition. Confirm. All right. Well, that was super easy. Assign role, Explorer. Test. See, I don't even have the requirements on DUNADAO. So, all right. And here's the link to our space. So I'm going to open up a new window with my hot wallet. So here, yonks.eth, join space. So this brings in my profile that I already set up before.
And you can customize. You can also customize that box when the first time someone joins the space. You can customize the information that you want the members to fill out. Like, you know, you can get creative with what you request.
Nice. So this is one of the things I absolutely love about the integration within the ecosystem. And one of the things, Stella, that I don't see that's a feature request for Unlock protocol is the credentials. So like one of the things that we're going to be getting here today is a certificate with Unlock protocol. And I'm not exactly sure how the Charmverse has set up the credentialing, but like earlier this year, I was on the Lex DAO Duna study group, as well as the Marshall Islands DAO study group. And those credentials were facilitated using the Unlock protocol certificate. And that's the kind of thing that should be showing here, in my opinion. So anyway, I don't know if do I have to
Good
add
point.
some? Yeah,
Good point.
I don't know if I'll get my copy and paste name to throw in here. So I get a save button. So that's how easy it was to set up the very first role. And now we're going to go through and timestamp here and create the founding member role and create the token gating. So it's pretty similar process. So I'm going to pull this window off and go over here back to the admin space. So roles and permissions, going to add a founding member, create role, and then invites, add a token gate, digital collectibles, unlock protocol, base, and get the lock contract address from our agenda here. Actually, I'm just going to copy it from the Unlock Protocol dashboard. Founding member, Unlock Protocol, DUNADAO, assign role, founding member. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here and let me see member directory. Does it automatically update, or do I need to sign out and sign back in, I wonder?
Yeah, you need to authenticate the role again.
What's the best way to do that?
You sign up, you sign up, and you log in again.
Okay, cool.
But my personal setup, I use Guild to automate the roles. There you go.
Guild.xyz.
Yeah, but Chambers is great, but there you go. You already have the founding member role.
Oh yeah, fabulous. So I'm not gonna do anything more right now. What's something else that you think that we should focus on? Because we still have a good portion of our working group, and we already got through a little bit faster than the creating two of the important foundational aspects. So what is everybody's thoughts? Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, what was that software that was just mentioned regarding, it sounded like authentication or something like that? Gil or something?
Yeah, guild.xyz. And this is one of the things that has a lot of composability. And one of the things that we'll actually do is we'll make onboarding DUNADAO into Guild our next tools working group. And I'll create a let us meet. I'm going to actually add that as an action item because it's been quite a while. I've used Guild, like we set up a Guild for Retoken DAO on guild.xyz all the way back in 2021 when Guild was just getting started. And it's got a vast amount of momentum, and you can see here base Guild has 256,000 people that have joined. So it has a lot of momentum within the base ecosystem, which is going to continue to ramp up. Base summer is going to be kicking off off here soon. Gitcoin Passport has a lot of composability within the ecosystem, and like unlocked protocol. One of the cool things that was recently added, if you want to prevent some Sybil resistance, you can set a threshold, and I don't know how tweakable that is because I haven't had a and think like one of the use cases of doing that, like ETHCC is. And are you going to ETHCC, Nuke, or is anybody else?
I'm going. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so ETHCC would be like a potential use case where, you know, it's a very high ticket item, and then, you know, the opportunity to potentially to prevent like the buying and the reselling of tickets is a strong use case for why that a community might want to put in a anti-Sybil component using Gitcoin Passport. But let me actually add a next action section here for doing a oops. Next actions.
And I have a one other question.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yes, could you explain the difference at a fundamental level in terms of the differences between base and well, all these other pieces?
So base is just one of a long list of L2s that are an option, and I'm not going to unpack all of the various reasons. We as a community, and I'll actually just take this opportunity real quick. So DUNADAO is functionally a project of Web3 Freedom Club .eth, which we are largely positioning. I'll throw a link in here to Snapshot. So Snapshot is a widely used tool for governance. We also use, and I'll go over here to the unlocked protocol. So this is where Stella received 100%. So again, congratulations. So here's the link to Stella's proposal. So, and this is one of the functionalities that I believe that exists within, and I haven't unpacked what it actually looks like, because one of the things that we as community builders, but let me go back to, because I went off on a little sidetrack here. So we created a proposal to, because we had been primarily building our ecosystem on Polygon, and this goes all the way back in 2021 when we started building DAOs. And one of the reasons that, and when you think about longevity, Polygon is the original most successful layer 2 EVM compatible chain within the Ethereum ecosystem. And one of the reasons that we have enjoyed building on Polygon is because it's had the most composability, and then the reduced cost standpoint of, because it's far more expensive to build on Ethereum mainnet as far as the transaction costs. It's really a deal breaker, in my opinion, as far as being able to build there. So this is a fairly like one of the things that I broke down, and you can read the some of the history here. Like I did a summary of pros and cons within this as well, as far as like Polygon versus Base. And one of the things that is very apparent, and I'm not going to unpack all of the numbers, but the Base is getting a vast amount of momentum. And one of the things that's also a differentiator about Base compared to some other L2 chains is, since that Base is a Coinbase product, there's no native token like Polygon. You have Matic. So it's a little bit harder, because one of the things that we as community builders need to be cognizant of is how that we can minimize some of the friction to make it easier, because one of our goals is to onboard people that not Web3 natives into the ecosystem. So the easier that we can make it, and think of like what the user journey is going to be. And that's one of the things that we'll probably have some conversation. One of the tools that I'm wanting to use to document user journeys is called Mermaid. And I'll actually take this offline into the Cryptorado Zulip chat, because I know that you love geeking out, Nuke, on some open source tools. And one of the things that's exciting to me about as a non-developer is that with Mermaid, you can create some pretty great, as far as visuals of like a user journey and lots of other types of diagrams functionally using Markdown code. And that's one of the things that I want and need to get better at in what we're building, is creating great documentation, because the better your documentation is, the less confusing that it is, and the easier that people can unpack that asynchronously on their own time and stuff like that. So
Mermaid. What?
Mermaid.js, and I'll just do a quick mermaid, and I actually have a book around.
Yeah, I was going to say mermaid.live, actually. They've got
So
a
are you
live
familiar with
interaction.
Mermaid?
Oh, yeah. I quite like it for quick and easy diagrams. Now, if you want to get more like specific, placement is automatic. So like if you want to get stylized, this isn't the right tool. But if you want to just grind out something that's good enough, it's like, this is a great tool.
Yeah. So, and I've got a book on it, but I haven't really unpacked it, because like one of the primary use cases that I'm wanting to, and the thing that's pretty fabulous about it too, is that it's pretty composable. So like when you're talking about doing documentation in GitHub, the opportunity to have like revision control, but then GitHub, for example, allows the mermaid diagram to be visualized there. And like I know Mermaid or Notion also supports the visualization of mermaid diagrams, and this looks like one that I was working with, but didn't really get too far with, because anyway, yeah. So mermaid.live. Thanks for that pointer there. So going back to Charm, is there anything else that we want to look at for Charmverse right now? I accomplished, as you can see here, the agenda that I had laid out. One of the things that I wanted to do that I didn't have enough time is get the Explorer NFT sent to everybody. Go ahead, Stella.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but I would have a question. So for protocol DAOs such as Unlock Protocol, I think I understand the value of this tool. No questions asked. I wanna ask a little bit deeper when it comes to more creative communities and collaborating on, for example, artwork or similar projects. Wasabi, do you have any recommendations, or how, like, is there a space for, like, I want to say, you know, like a pin board, like something Miro-like? I don't know how to describe this, but something that's a little bit more organic, less structured. Is there such a space?
Yeah. What I love about Chambers is that you can almost replicate any workflow inside of Chambers. And for example, for that loose creative sparks of inspiration, like there is a forum. I feel like the forum is a great place because you can convert forum proposals you can convert forum posts into proposals. Let's say that, just to say something, you are creating a new line of merch, let's say, and you are getting feedback in the forum. You can have that use a forum post to have that open dialogue with the community. And then let's say that you are about to request funding from the community treasury. You can convert the forum post into a proposal, and you can select a specific workflow. Let's say that for funding proposals, they go through a specific track. So basically you can pre-program everything from the beginning. And when it comes to a place for the community, Chambers is very integrated, that you can, let's say, you can bring Figma boards, you can bring whatever external content into Chambers, and the forum is great. and also the whole tree, the creation of pages in the tree, you can give the users the power that they can create their own workspaces and they can customize them in whatever way they want. Of course, you can always provide like templates and, like say, a standardized way of doing any process, but it's like you said, artists are more loose. And if I feel like the forum is the perfect playground for them, because everyone can engage. And you know, like I said, I see Chambers as a community hub, but it's like a white canvas. You gotta paint whatever you want to see in Chambers, but all of the options are there.
Thank you for answering. This is really helpful. Thank you.
I've got a question on that.
Go for
Does
it,
that mean
Brendan.
that does that mean that you're voting on a logical flow or workflow?
Yeah, Chambers, you can, if you go to settings right now, you can see that you can create the workflow for everything. For example, in the communities that I set up workflows for, we have a workflow for everything. We have a workflow for onboarding people into the DAO. We have a workflow for community proposals. We have a workflow for roles. So every decision have a different framework, and you have different roles interacting. Like you can set, let's say that you want to set a spam filter on a grants program. You delegate that specific role, and when you set up the workflow, you select who's going to be in the spam filter step, who's going to be able to vote on those kind of proposals. Like you can pre-program and you can give voting power to a specific role in a specific process, and you can play with it. Like it's really cool to play with it.
All right. What other questions do we have about Charmverse?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, the question would be, so at a high level, what is the workflow regarding initial setup with Charmverse as compared to setting up Unlock and the role of Unlock? I mean, I'm not exactly clear in terms of how Unlock fits into Charmverse and the order of operations there, and the affordances and features of Unlock in Charmverse.
So I'll actually take that one. Unlock is a protocol for representing like member NFTs. Like we've got, and this is one of the action items that I have, and I'm actually going to add this as an action item, because when you think about composability, tokens provide a lot of composability, and I'm not even going to unpack that, but like when you have an NFT and the way that we're using, and we've got actually several different use cases, like, and let me go to the our Unlock dashboard here. So like one of the NFTs that participants are going to get today is a certificate NFT. And hit me up if I don't get everybody included. So that's basically like a credentials, because we're here having this interactive working group experience where we functionally as a group set up the Charmverse space. So think of that as like an online credentials functionality. So like we actually hosted our very first pre-launch conversations, and that was using an event NFTs. So that's categorically a little bit of a different functionality. And then we've got the Explorer member role. And that was one of the things that we created using the NFT. So like somebody here, like on our DUNADAO, which is a Linktree space, if they want to come in and they're like, man, I love, because like the live stream right now is getting broadcast to multiple different channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and the opportunity for somebody to asynchronously say, hey, I want to be a part of this online community. They can come over here and go to the checkout process. And for $7, they can join as a founding member of DUNADAO. And then with that NFT that they create, whether they've even participated in any events or not, they can automatically go to our Charmverse space, and then they'll have one of the things that I've got to do is unpack, like, add a little bit different features as far as the Explorer, because we want that to be more of like a view only. Now, and then the founding member might have edit, and that's where I really need to offline unpack some of that additional functionality. So it's really about the composability where you can automate the workflows. And like one of the things that I'm going to do is create a Let Us Meet for the following week. And I put a link in the Zoom chat because we're going to be planning our third pre-launch conversations here later this week based upon the availability provided. So this is another tool that I love using where people can come in and then we can create the most inclusive meeting time based upon people's provided availability on that. And Let Us Meet is still the best tool that I've found for doing that. But it'll be interesting. I also personally love using cal.com. But did that answer your questions as far as how the unlock protocol fits into like from a composability standpoint, Brendan?
Mostly. The second question or detailed follow-up to that would be, then how do you, it seems like you go to unlockprotocol.com and then that's the platform or portal that you interface with Unlock, but then how do you bind into your Unlock NFT the reference to Charm?
So that was actually something that we set up here earlier, is created, and going back to our agenda, created the role of Explorer, and then with the smart contract address, like right here in the lock dashboard, you just click on the little copy button, and that's the smart contract address, and then that bound that NFT, the Explorer role, and the Explorer NFT, and that's one of the things that the integration has already been established to make it even easier from that. So it was pretty easy, and that's one of the things that whomever can watch on the replay as far as how that was done. And I was glad that it was as easy as it was, because it only allocated a few minutes to do each one of those things. And I think we ended up even a few minutes ahead of time as far as checking those boxes on our agenda here.
And then, oh yeah, okay, I'm live. The question here then is, so you mentioned Base being a protocol as a L2 that is less expensive than Matic and Polygon. There is a cost or not?
Yeah, so pretty much anytime that you're interacting on chain, there's going to be a cost to create the smart contract. And I'm not going to say that Base is less expensive than Matic. There's just reasons that we're leaning into Base, and that's one of the things that you can unpack in this proposal that we made earlier as far as Web3 Freedom Club and the DAO ecosystem that we're doing. And like one of the things that's an open consideration is that there's currently an SEC case against is Matic a security, and that's not one that there's been any decision on. So like that's one of the things with Base that I'm confident that there'll never be a case made against Base, because Base is operated by Coinbase, a publicly traded company, which is one of the largest centralized exchanges, and they're doing a lot of things. Like one of Coinbase's main, and their Base Summer is going to be underway. Like that was one of the things that they did in 2023 to really launch their L2 chain. And go ahead. I hear somebody talking. So there's other L2 chains. Like one of the things that we're going to be doing, and I'm not going to unpack some of the reasons why, but Cello has more of a public goods framework, and we're going to be creating some proof of contribution smart contracts, and that's something that we'll likely have conversations, because one of the things that I love doing is creating a proof of contribution. Like right now, we're all participating in this, and we're not really necessarily getting any proof of contribution. I mean, we're going to get an NFT that represents participating here today, which is definitely a proof of contribution in that via the unlock certificate over here. But I've got some other ideas and not going to unpack it because we've only got a couple minutes left. But does anybody have any other questions before we bring this Zoom to a close? Because I do want to be respectful of everybody's time today. All righty. Well, I don't see anybody raising their hand or speaking up, so it's been absolutely fun. And this is one of the ways that we love building in public here. And thank you again, Wasabi. Everybody go check out Coconut Network. I didn't get a chance. I was doing too much talking to open up my coconut water, but check out Coconut Network, and looking forward to hopefully exploring Charmverse for Unlock Protocol to see if it's a good fit there for us.
I just put it in the chat. I'm quite sold on this. I think this is a good collaborative tool, and like we should just give it a try, see how people adapt to it. I really like that it has the Unlock Protocol integration. I know I was told this before, I think by you, but I never looked into it. So it was good seeing this in action and how easy it is to assign. So yeah, I think we should give it a try. What the hell?
And just to carry that conversation forward, one of the things, and this, as you know, Stella, is an important component, but I would actually advocate, because right now within Unlock, we have a very loose member NFT, and it's basically to do token gating within Discord. And I would actually advocate that we create a DAO contributor for Unlock DAO NFT, so that we can have elevated roles and permissions within the Charmverse space. So we could take that conversation offline, because yeah. All right,
I have one quick question.
Go for it, Brendan.
Yeah. So with both Charmverse and Unlock, you know, they seem powerful, I would say, from what I see. The question being APIs, are you able to interact with either of them through APIs or other protocol low-level methods?
Well, I'm not going to speak as far as the Charmverse aspect, because that's not something that I've really looked into from a technical standpoint. Do you have any feedback there? Go ahead, Wasabi.
Yeah, you can use they have an API. You just need to tell them the use case, and they give you the key.
Okay, thanks.
And from Unlock standpoint, the main goal of Unlock is to create on-chain representation for various types of things like a membership NFT. Go ahead, back to you, Wasabi.
Unlock Protocol, they honor the name of protocol in the name. Like they allow you to take the contract and do whatever you want with it. It's very customizable. I can say that because I have been reading the docs and using Unlock Protocol for a minute. So yeah, they just create this front end for people to use the protocol, but when you go to the developer documentations, then you are getting like the real thingy.
And just to carry that a little forward, Stella is like now officially the lead steward, and Julian, the founding dev of Unlock Protocol, is very active. Like one of the things that I mentioned that going to do is submit a feature request to elevate the on-chain credentials through the Unlock Protocol certificate, so that like the certificate that we'll be getting today for participating in this working group will show up as a credential within Charmverse spaces that you join. So And like going back to events, one of the feature requests that I've submitted on the GitHub for Unlock Protocol, one of the things that Tyler and I want to get great at, like, while this is an online event, we want to get great at hybrid events. And there's a little bit different workflow when you're talking about combining IRL plus online functionality. And that's one of the things that I've submitted a feature request for on GitHub. So most of the conversations on Unlock happen via Discord, but we also host a weekly DAO call. And then there's also a more public live streamed call using Huddle 01, which is a decentralized Zoom alternative. And you can find those times in the Unlock Protocol Discord. But we're already 3 minutes past. I'm going to give another minute or so before we bring this to a wrap. Thanks again, Wasabi and Stella, for joining. Looking forward to unpacking all the stuff. And I'm very excited because, like I said, with DUNADAO, I haven't really created any, mostly been using Google Docs and haven't really done anything within Notion. So this will make it a lot easier to embrace Charmverse in a very greenfield. And that's one of the ways, like, I love experimenting with tools. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking to let anybody else chime in some final thoughts, because again, want to be respectful of everybody's time here. All right, well, everybody have a great rest of your week. I did add on the agenda here for those people that want to participate in our upcoming pre-launch conversations. This is something that I'll put a ping on the Telegram for the Let Us Meet as far as a reminder, and really wanting to get that scheduled. So I'm going to get that scheduled here later tonight based upon the currently added availability. So if you want to keep on plugging into what we're building, join the conversation, our next pre-launch conversation. It's not going to be as focused as this one. And then I'm also going to create a tools working group for setting up Guild, because that's has a lot of composability within the ecosystem, as well as far as just making it easier and decentralized as far as accessing community. But thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Yonks, for hosting.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you
guys.
for coming. Thank you
Great,
for
thanks.
teaching.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.